Hello everyone, this is Mason, or FPS Gamer, and today we're taking a look at Besiege. It's a PC game that's based on building different mechanisms in order to achieve certain objectives. And for those of you that are really into Forge, which is the majority of my followers, I think you'll really like what Besiege has to offer. Now, Besiege has what you would call a campaign. It has levels, or they're more like stages that you go through and achieve objectives. But I spend most of my time here in the sandbox where you can create really anything you can imagine. This first creation that you see is a quadcopter that I created. This one is very nimble, and it has controls that can pivot the device forward or backward. It also has controls on the bottom that can change the direction of the drone or the quadcopter, and it uses the torque from those fans to actually turn the machine, but it's actually quite nimble. Despite its large size, it can flip around and change direction pretty quick. I'm not very great at controlling it. Someone who's a better pilot than myself would probably have a much easier time with this device, but I was still impressed with what I was able to create. This was really my first creation. I've been modifying it as I get better with the tools and as I've downloaded more mods, and it's very maneuverable. It's really just limited by the skill of the user, which admittedly is not very good when it comes to myself, but as I get used to the controls and as I work with the drone a little bit more, I think I'll be able to control it a lot better. Another thing about the game is that you can completely change which controls perform certain functions. Here I have a different quadcopter that I created, and this one is far less nimble, but it's much easier to control. The fans on the bottom of the device will actually pivot the rest of the machine, and then when I hit the throttle, it will move in the direction that it's tilted. So movements are very small, but you have a lot more control with this one. As you can see, you could still kind of do some tricks with it, but it's much slower to move around. It's a completely different design, but it's a little bit easier to control unless, of course, you flip it upside down. Another creation I made, this is demonstrating some of the mod packs or some of the skins that you can download. Obviously this Land Rover looking thing is not part of the regular content that comes with the game. You have to download this stuff. But it's a testament to how great the online community is for PC users especially, and how easy it is to access each other's content. And you can see I fitted this particular monster truck with a cannon. And it also has four-wheel steering, much like a regular monster truck, and that can all be scripted to use different controls. And you can also turn on or off an invincibility mode for the device so that it can be destroyed or it can stay in one piece if you need it to. This right here is a simple catapult, and this is showcasing a more basic use of Besiege is really designed for. It has various pulleys and levers and springs and equipment that you can use to achieve certain objectives. Again, this is just a sandbox mode where you can really do whatever. Another simple use is to create a crane, a mobile crane in this case. The crane portion of it can pivot clockwise or counterclockwise. It can also move up or down. And it has a grabber at the end that can actually be raised and lowered by a series of pulleys, and it can pick things up and you can drive them around. You can also play with the local village people who aren't particularly fond of you. You can kill them obviously, but they will try to attack you even completely unprovoked. If you don't have some way to get rid of them or to kill them or to outrun them, they can destroy your machine if you are not in invincibility mode, so you have to be careful of that. Moving on, we have my latest creation, which of course most of you are very familiar with what this is probably trying to represent, and that is a Scorpion tank from the Halo series. It has four-wheel steering, four-wheel control, it has a front-mounted turret and also a rear-mounted missile launcher and turret. I tried to get as close as I can to how the Scorpion tank looks and performs. Now, this used a lot of pieces, and if you look in the upper left-hand corner, you can see I'm actually running this at 25% speed. If I ran it faster than that, I actually had some issues with frame rate. Now, I recorded this at 25% speed, but sped it up 4 times for your benefit, so you can see it in real time without any loss of frame rate. So you can see it's very maneuverable for its size. It's obviously much larger scale-wise than a real Scorpion tank would be, but you have to have it this big in order to get the kind of detail and fidelity that I was looking for. You can see the turret and also the wheels and everything move independently, and I scripted the keys on the keyboard to perform different functions, and I put them on keys that would make intuitive sense so you can both turn and move at the same time. And I also placed various cameras on the machine. This one obviously is a more cinematic camera, and this one a first-person perspective, and also cameras are mounted to each of the turrets so that you can get a first-person view of what you're looking at. But it has a rear-mounted turret, and if you have infinite ammo turned on, you can fire that as many times as you want. And it also has a front-mounted turret that, again, with infinite ammo, you can fire as fast as you want. The missile launcher, or the main offensive weapon on the Scorpion tank, actually only fires once, but I actually mounted a camera to the missile itself, so when it launches, it actually follows it. And you can see that I failed here to actually hit that target, but it's a pretty cool view, pretty awesome perspective. But it still has a rear-mounted turret that you can use to rain down a series of cannonballs. An unforeseen benefit to playing this essentially in super slow-mo was running into bombs and seeing the object get completely destroyed. It's awesome seeing all the different workings of the device get completely demolished in slow motion. Maybe it's just me, but I found this absolutely fascinating and spent, I don't want to admit how much time actually running into things and watching my creations explode in slow motion. It's really fascinating in my opinion. And of course this inspired me to slap on a whole bunch of bombs and watch my creation get completely demolished. It's an open sandbox. It's a lot of fun. You can build really anything that you can imagine using what's both in the game and also some of the downloadable content created by other users in the community. But anyway, I had a lot of fun with this game. I'm going to continue using Besiege and creating various things. If you have any Besiege content that you want me to showcase on the channel, go ahead and send that to me. But thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and I'll catch you in the next one.